What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Burndown YouTube channel. We are on the Malibu still today. Should be kind of exciting, but we're really not going to push the envelope. I am still on dad duty. The wife is still, she's out having a grand old time while I'm holding the fort down over here and the farm and everything that goes along with it. I want to share something with you before we get started today. And in the last video, I did the trunk stick, right? We made the trunk stick, we put it in there, and I was like, awesome. Well, the idea for that, I bounced ideas off a buddy of mine, and initially I wanted to do struts, right? I was like, a strut would be cool. And he's like, dude, you don't want to mess with that and the angles and trying to get it to work. He's like, just do a stick. And I was like, well, a stick really can't fail, right? A stick is good. So I put my video out, and then sure enough, bing, my phone goes off, and my buddy was like, I have this one trunk strut and I just put a bolt through my hinge and then it just holds up, and I'm like, man, if I just put a bolt and bolt the deal and it goes up and it takes me like 30 minutes, I'm gonna feel like an idiot for not doing that first. So I was like, well, I already have the stick, right? So I picked up some $20 struts. So these are little gas struts. Let me pull one out of the package. Ooh, movie magic. So little 15-inch gas strut. I just kind of looked at the picture that he had. I was like, I can make that happen. So we get a 45 pound struts bolted in, nothing, right? Man, so I was like, you know what? I already bolted it, I already made the holes. It took me kind of like an afternoon. I didn't film it. So I was like, I'll get a 100-pound one. So I got a 100-pound one, bolted it back in, nothing. So I was like, I'm about to give up on this thing. Well, it started bothering me, so I wanted to share it with you. So I did end up getting it correct. So now we do not have a trunk stick. Kind of wasted time, but I mean, the trunk stick will still bolt down, I guess. And I already undid that. Bada boom, bada bing. So there you go. So initially, in his picture, he had it bolted here and to there, and I thought that was pretty slick. And that worked on his car, and he's like, my deck lid is heavy. Well, this one, it's got to be much heavier than what he's working with. So, yeah, I ended up using 2 struts to hold it. I thought, you know, in the beginning, maybe I could just get away with one. And since I had the stick on that side, we worked on this side. And I had to move the mount point. And what I found, because I'm like a caveman when I do these things, is I had the mount point too far out, right? Because I thought the angle to help push this thing up. Well, when you collapse it, it just turns into a stick. It just collapses. So you have to get it past the 90-degree angle, so when this comes down, it folds in, it doesn't bottom, right? So there's a sweet spot. I don't know geometry, I don't know how to do things. I guess we could see where it was hitting here, so I could probably come back a little further. I would almost imagine if you were dead nuts vertical or just a little bit past, it would work, but I don't really know. I just went a little more than for safety measures, because I was sick of moving this. Once we nailed this one, that one worked out good. And then what I ended up having to do, because this just went to the sheet steel, I made this little brace that goes across, and then we already had this guy here. So when the load comes down, it pushes down on this, and then it wanted to fold it under. So now it just pushes against there. So I'll show you if I pull in the trunk. You can see it articulate, but it's putting the load on here and on there. So yeah, when I first did it, the thing was like flexing. It wanted to fold them in on itself. Anyway, persistency paid off. Now we have an awesome deal. You know, it's, you can see just with one hand. I mean, you guys watch me struggle. So that is really awesome. And that was my tip, is that you gotta, I would say, I mean, vertical's probably the key, right? But maybe just a little in from that, so that way it has room to fold. I don't know, they have instructions. I'm not an instruction guy. Like I said, I like to beat on things, set stuff on fire, just make it happen. I learn with these and by doing, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do too. If you gave me a textbook on how to install that, I'd never get it. So that is that. So we got the little dudes in there. And then in today's adventure, you'll notice that we are spun around. So we actually get to take this portion off, which will not have struts. This is lift off. And then I have to dig around, and I want to put a mock-up block in there so we can mount a turbo. I thought I thought about just kind of picking a place, but I know it's just going to be wrong. So in order to get it 100% right, and I know that things work, we need to go dig a transmission out from the side yard. I've got a block back there, and then we will slide that in, and then probably squirrel nut stuff in there, radiator and things that would be in the way. So when we mount that turbo, we're not having to redo every single thing, because I have plumbing and I have all the stuff. So I'd rather put that in the way and see what area I'm working with than to redo stuff if I don't have to, because I don't want to cost even more time than I've already spent. So today's adventure is just if we could kind of get a drivetrain in. That's all I'm kind of looking to do. If we could maybe set the turbo kind of down or start figuring it out, that would be cool. I don't think we're going to get that far, considering I don't have, it's half dirt and half concrete, so that's going to kind of pose an issue. And then I'm here by myself. I can't push this car around, otherwise I'd put it on the concrete and make life easier. But then I can't get this thing out to work on it. So it is what it is. We'll throw a board or something down there and hopefully don't get too jammed up and we can manhandle some stuff around. I mean, that's the goal and the hope. And then we're just putting, it's just a short block in a transmission, so it's not quite as heavy as a fully loaded motor. So let's stab stuff in here. We'll see how we go. Man, oh man. I think these things are all going to be rusted shut. It's been a minute since we've had to open this thing. It's just been sitting, getting rained on. Oh, it came out. Kind of. 4-4-5. Needs a paint update. We'll make it fast and then we'll make it pretty again. So, all right. Let's get this thing off there. I haven't had it off in quite a while. Woo. Well, that thing is much lighter than that deck lid. Should probably rattle can a little holder, boys. So here we are. I know it looks like we have all the room in the world for activities, but it gets filled up quickly when we put junk and crud in here. So I'm thinking turbo will live over here somehow, and then the air to water intercooler will live over here. I'd like to kind of keep it over this direction as much as possible, so if it does leak, it's not leaking directly in the path of my tires. And then this guy, let's try to keep it away from some of these wires, but I should be able to secure these really well, so I'm not too worried about it. But we will have to figure out where we're going to put the inlet of it so we can get some air to that dog. But first things first, we need a motor and transmission, and I got to struggle and figure out how to slide one in here. So we'll throw you guys down on a time lapse, and then I'll struggle around for a little while. All right, Eddie, we have an engine and a transmission. It was kind of an S show. I don't know where all the hardware for the thingamajig went, but we got it in here. I got enough bolts holding the stuff in. You know, we've got bolts and everything through here. This thing's not going anywhere. It is crazy though, because this is 100 pound heavier on the block. Granted, there's nothing in it, so you know, we don't have pistons or rods or whatever. But just putting that in here, look at the stance. It really brought this thing down, and this is probably the overall stance that we're going to be looking at when we go racing. But anyway, getting sidetracked. So now I'll just start throwing stuff on here. I'm gonna throw the heads on. I'll just slide like one bolt in a piece. I'll probably just kind of put everything back on it for the most part, but I don't have to like bolt it down, so it should be pretty quick. So we'll slap a couple heads on, maybe throw the intake, set that in place, set the radiator probably in place. I might slide a balancer on so I can get the width this way, and then we can put the manifolds on either side so those kind of protrude, and then hopefully that kind of gives me an idea room wise of what we're looking at. But this is going to be my go-to area, hopefully, and we will figure it out as we go. So let me slap some more parts on, and then we'll kind of measure for that turbo and see, because that thing, it's a big boy, dude. So let's get on it. The more stuff I stacked in here, the better I kind of felt about the room for activities. So we'll be able to fill up this area, and then without the turbo and all the stuff here, I got a lot of room, man. This is a lot. So we've got hoses A to B. We'll have to account for this. I don't know if, yeah, I might as well kind of put it on just tentatively too for this. And then that's all the stuff down here that could possibly get in the way. So fortunately, I only have to bring one pipe from here to there, and it's a 2.5, so I feel fine with that. And then hopefully we can use that tight bend, and then we'll put big dog over here somewhere. So let me grab a couple more hoses and things and put them on, and then we'll kind of just take a measurement of that thing, and we'll kind of see where the beach ball is going to fit. Maybe we can find something like a box or something that size and just eyeball it. But I think this will be the point where I'm going to call it. It's getting a little bit later. I want to hang out with my son. He's been playing video games. He's been a good boy all day. And then we're going to do, I think, like dinner and a movie. And dinner to him is like fast food. So he's like, oh, we can go to like Taco Bell and sit down, Dad. I said, no, let's go somewhere where people serve us and Dad doesn't have to do dishes. And so trying to talk him into that. We'll see how it works. But let's put that hose, a few more things on, I'll give you a look at it, and we'll find something kind of roughly the size of the turbo, and we'll show you how much room that thing's actually gonna take up. I slid a couple hoses on. I put a block of wood down there. Oh, you can see, dude, so we hustled it in here. I just wanted to see for a reference, but yeah, that's a big boy. So it looks like we'll have the room. I turned the wheel all the way to see, you know, this is full lock. My car doesn't turn very well, but we'll have the room over here. I want to try to keep it forward and low is the plan. So I know it's funny because it's begging to like cut one of these guys out, you know, but I don't know. I mean, I know guys do it, so we'll see. It's funny because I think this is actually bigger than my headlight. But yeah, then we made good progress today. Now that all this stuff is here, I put all the stuff in the way, like I said. I think I'm gonna run all the bolts in here just in case we weld. I only have like 3 bolts in each manifold, so we'll come back and put all the bolts in. So when we start making everything, if we put tacks on stuff, it doesn't pull or move nothing around. I think that was a problem I had last time around. We had a little bit of an exhaust leak on this side, but I think it's gonna fit. Of course, it's gonna be tight. The thing's the size of a 5-gallon bucket, and we're stuffing it in the fender well. But I'm excited. I think we have the room. I think we're gonna get it figured out. This is a major step forward for me because I felt like I was just in Groundhog Day doing the rear end of the car. So I'm super excited that we are past that portion. We are onto this. Once we pick the spot and a home for this, and we build the hot side on to the water box, which is gonna live over here on this side. And then that one's a little easier because we just fit it where it fits best. There's no exhaust coming off it or anything. There's just a couple hoses in and out. Easy peasy. So I think that's good, except for the aluminum welding part. I'm not much of a welder, so we are gonna make boogers together. I'll probably enlist the help of some of my buddies or something. We'll figure that portion out. But until next time, forward progress is amazing. You guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, share. Till next time, I'm out.